Calling all nerds. This is More Than Dice, the podcast where we dive deep into the realms of everything nerdy. Whether you're a nerd culture connoisseur, a tabletop titan, a miniature gaming marveler, or just someone who proudly embraces their inner geek, this is the podcast for you. And now, let's get to the show.
And welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm Mizzy.
I'm Nessie.
Welcome to episode 345. Holy crap. We're getting up there. Holy crap. Although we've gotten like, someone messaged me, it's like, why do you have over 700 episodes on YouTube?
Because we do a lot of shit.
I was like,
we are nerds.
they were like,
we do the nerd things.
We got all of our role-playing games, all the other stuff. It was like, so on and so forth. I was like, holy crap. But yeah, episode 345. Just so you know, next week's podcast will not be our typical podcast. It will be a RPG session. Nessie's going to be running his Daggerheart game, the Warcrow Adventures of Velo the Lost, with the Lost being promoted, which I do need to take a small break real quick. So the group that's going to be playing the game are actually going to appear in my in real life game of Daggerheart, and I've already got the scene set up and everything. Nessie, when we're done with here, I have to kick Mizzy off because I don't want her to hear about this, but I want to tell you what the scene I'm going to set up with our Lost crew in my Daggerheart game. You're going to love it. You're going to be like, this is so you. This is going to be so the team. So Mizzy can't hear it. Yeah, Mizzy's, it'll ruin it. So I've got the scene set up and so on and so forth. But next week will be a much longer episode. We're going to do session 1 of Velo the Lost with the 4 players and Nessie GMing, and we're looking forward to it. Sounds like it's going to be a great time. Characters are made, ready to go. I am stoked.
I'll get to meet Grota. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
You know.
So we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff.
Wait, I have to make up an adventure? Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so Shadow Sword starting normal time next week. We're still going to start at 6:30. And instead of, doing a pre-ramble, we're just going to go ahead and start with the RPG and go from there. And it'll probably be, probably last longer than possibly 9 o'clock. We're looking at it. It just all depends. But it will not be anything but the RPG to kick it off. And then after that, we will do episodes whenever, we can get all the team together to play again.
Yeah.
So
Yes, Bree. It will be 6:30 Central is when we start.
yeah. So, but with that happening, we figured it would be a really cool idea to do an episode on new campaigning, DM and player recommendations and responsibilities. We thought that would be something that would be worthwhile talking about since this is coming up and we have a lot of things to deal with all that. But for that, we got to get to the business. First thing I gotta do is got to thank Turbo Dork for sponsoring the channel, hanging out with us, and being awesome people as always. Don't forget to check them out at Gen Con. They will be there doing a lot of cool stuff. Can't wait to hang out with them when I see them at the next convention. I know I got to talk with them about some other stuff coming up, but just can't wait. We also want to give a quick shout out to Eldritch Foundry. We will be doing a small contest on the Facebook page. We want you to build a miniature, showing us the picture of the miniature you built in Eldritch Foundry, and we're going to give away some gift certificates so you can get actual physical models. So we'll be doing that pretty soon. Other than that, we do have a few shout outs this week. This week was your typical shout out this week for celebrity passing away. First one was Michael Madsen. Did Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill Volume 2. Always played like a gangster, typically, bad guy. Very, very, very much into that. Passed away at 67, and everything. So sad to see him go. The other one was Kenneth Coley. He was the Admiral Piet in Star Wars. I think the guy was like 87 years old, so lived quite a while. But very, when you see his face, you recognize him immediately from the Star Wars episodes.
Yeah, he barely aged.
Yeah.
He did not look.
Yeah. And then we had go ahead.
had one more. It was Julian McMahon.
Yep.
So Charmed, Nip Tuck, that sort of thing. The big one being Charmed for a lot of folks that I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was shocking.
Yeah.
All of them were shocking.
Yeah, he was. He passed away from cancer, is what it was. So here we go. Ready?
So, fuck cancer.
1, 2, 3. Fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah, fuck cancer, man. Fucking A.
Yeah. And then Bree brought up, and this was happened to Jim Shooter. He was a editor in chief for Marvel. Passed away too.
Yeah.
He was like 70 something. So quite a bit.
Damn.
This week. I do remember Michael from Nip Tuck, because I remember that's where that was, and then other stuff that he had done, but that's where I remember him first from. So I didn't watch Charmed.
He was also in Fantastic Four.
Yep, he was Dr. Doom.
Yep.
So
yeah, he left Charmed to do Nip Tuck, so I was kind of upset about
that. But shout out to all of them, guys. Important question I have to ask you, Captain Mizzy, what are you drinking?
I've got my strawberry kiwi water. 'Cause hydrates.
Are you dehydrates? Nestor, what are you drinking tonight?
I have Coquito, which is a kind of like eggnog. I've drank it in the past on the show, but it's got rum in it, so why is all the rum gone? Because Nessie drank it.
I'm doing the same thing as Mizzy, just hydrating with just regular water. Just some good old basic H2O, filtered H2O at that. So,
Nice.
Basic white boy with your filtered water.
Filtered water.
I do have water on the side. Don't get me wrong.
So, but, guys, please take care of yourself out there. One, it is actually getting really freaking hot. So if you're working outside, make sure you're hydrating, type stuff. Hydrate normally, but it is getting stupid hot out there. So, please look after each other. Please, if you see something, say something. Don't just be a standby person. We need to stand up for each other, and make sure that, we're looking after each other all the time. Cheers.
Cheers. Crispy.
Nice and cool, refreshing water. All right, I'm going to switch over to the paint cam. I do want to show one model before we get started, because I did paint a model up for my Daggerheart campaign, and had a lot of questions about it. This is a model I'm going to be painting up while we're streaming, but get that camera swing around. Just a swinging.
Bring it round town.
Giggity.
But I did finally move my my speed paints down below so I could get to them a whole lot easier now.
Good job.
Oh, yeah.
Franzo.
So it was like I had to do that. So gonna be working on this model, but I also did I printed off 2 models, one in water washable resin and one in normal resin. And can you tell which is which?
That's
Water
a best
washable.
question.
Water washable on the left.
This is water washable.
On the left.
That's my left. This one that I'm shaking. Nope,
That's
this one
what
is.
I'm guessing.
This one is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the darker resin was the water washable one, which I thought was interesting. What's weird is whenever I went to cure it, the normal resin kind of has a glow to it under the UV. This one doesn't. It just was just dark. It was really weird looking. But yeah, this was the
So-
water washable.
So for the people in the room who don't speak 3D printer, what is water washable resin?
So water washable resin, typically normal resin, you have to clean with 99% isopropyl alcohol. Very messy, very stinky, very toxic, so on and so forth. Water washable resin, you can clean it off with water. I bought a bottle of it to see if I liked it, to see if it got good definition, and saw no difference in it whatsoever. Did a test miniature of both, pretty much just fine. So
That's what I've been using since I got my printer,
Yep.
and I'm really happy with it, which is why I mentioned it to Gonzo, and Gonzo was like, "Yeah, let me try this out." Because the detail, I've heard that the detail gets lost or is not as crisp on bigger miniatures, but like I'm only doing up to like an 80 mil
yeah.
miniature and the plan, so it looks so far so good.
All right, so I got my Daggerheart game, and they're about to fit this abomination character that they don't know about. Mizzy's the only one that knows about this and has seen pictures of it, just because I posted it. But here's the back of it. Look at all the little pustules and eyeballs, and
Just a little guy.
just a little guy,
Yeah,
because
right.
he likes to
Just a
hug
guy.
people.
And is that on a 50 mil or an 80 mil?
It's about a 50 mil.
Yeah.
And you can see I did this. I used the Dirty Down Gore. Man, that stuff was super, super easy to use. Let me see if I can
Yeah.
get it to.
It turned out really nice.
Yeah. He
That
stands out.
gore, yeah.
Like the green, like that's something that's a face only Nurgle would love.
Yeah. And what's
That's
funny
exactly
is
what I said when I saw the back of it too.
whenever I was using the Dirty Down, you just use it, take a toothpick, you stick it in there, and you got to use it pretty quickly because it'll start to harden up pretty quickly. So you stick it here and just pull it and just, go around. I went a little crazy with it and did it on the inside and all this other stuff. But he turned out super gory. All the eyeballs. I know that some of them are supposed to be pustules, but I was like, nah, let's make them eyeballs. Dead
No,
black
they stand-
eyeballs.
That's scary. That's really scary.
I'm in danger.
Yeah, exactly.
Did a little bit
Missy,
of.
you and I would be up to his kneecaps in real life. Let's be real.
Yep.
Then I did a little bit of rusting on the blade with the Dirty Down Rust, just to play with that too, because it's quick and easy, gives a really cool pattern and such. But the disease pustules came out really well. Everything just turned out really quick. 99% of this was done with speed paints. I painted it up with the green, did a what is it, the Agrath Earthshade, and then dry brushed it a little bit to give it a little bit more texture, and then just used on the pustules. I just did an orange speed paint, and then just did a little bit of yellow over the top of them, and then of course the eyeballs were done in black. I sealed it. After I sealed it, I put clear shiny coat on the eyeballs, and then did the rusting on the weapons and the gore on the face.
Yeah,
In the
it
mouth.
looks really good.
Yeah, he is
Seeing
super
it-
creepy.
Seeing it now compared to like the pictures, and like I said earlier, his picture stood out very much so. Seeing it
In
more on
4K.
camera, yeah, very scary.
So they get to see that later.
Nice. Good luck,
This
Mizzy.
is fine. This is fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
I'm a clank. I'm fine. You don't want to eat me. I'm metal.
He's gonna use you as a toothpick.
So, but the Dirty Down stuff was really, really easy to use. I was really impressed with that. It was very quick. You just dip it a little bit in there, wrap it around the toothpick a little bit, and then just put it on one spot, let it sit there for a second, and then stretch it. And that was it.
Yeah.
Took like 3 minutes to do all that. But
I really want to use that on my Tyranids. So, ooh, what the? Ooh, that's no.
What is this?
What is that?
What this?
so this is another model that's going to be making an appearance in our game on not this Saturday, but the next Saturday.
So the
and-
19th.
Yeah, our Daggerheart. This is going to be a model in
Yep.
the Daggerheart. He is going to be the gatekeeper. So he has tombstones built on his back and a bunch of other
Ooh.
things. So we'll see how this goes. And he's standing and walking on ground and some skulls.
Nope,
Um,
I'm out.
and he's super, super creepy. So,
Mizzy, Mizzy, are you playing on that game?
Yep,
Good luck on that one too.
I'll be fine.
Yeah. I
Lumia
thought
will be fine.
I thought I had a penchant for horror, but it's scarier when someone prints out miniatures for it. Like that is
See, you thought that you were bad, and then you met Gonzo, and you're like,
then I make
actually, I'm not that bad.
I am a choir boy compared to Gonzo and his imagination.
because what's funny is these tombstones are actually bursting out of his flesh.
No, we're done. Moving on.
He's wearing a loincloth, so you can't see his junk. But he's creeping
But
across
I
the
want to
ground.
kick him in his junk.
You're gonna hit a tombstone. He's gonna hit you with a tombstone. Like that's like
let-
an ability. Hit
Let's
with
go.
tombstone. It's gonna cost 1 stress because he has to peel it out of his body. And
So, by the way, these two models were from Archvillain Games. So,
they look really cool.
yeah, these are really cool ones. But all right,
Nice.
so we can go ahead and get started as I bump my microphone. Talking about responsibilities. Now, Mizzy is not a GM, although Mizzy is going to be looking to do GMing soon.
Yes.
She said she was going to run a 2-year campaign with us.
Yes.
And
You
start
should
doing
talk to
that.
Ariel. Ariel and Mizzy should get together and GM a game.
I really like how you're putting words in my mouth, but at the same time, you know it's probably gonna happen because I'm a sucker.
No, because I've been running with games with Ariel for like 13 years. So, and she has a good imagination. She's a comic book nerd like the rest of us. And I really want to see what she could come up with. And I am also want to see what you could come up with, Mizzy. No pressure.
No pressure.
But
No
but I
pressure at all.
but I would love to see both you and her run separate one shots one day.
So here's how I feel about this. It is not that I'm necessarily opposed to like creating and doing the things. It's execution that makes me go. "Ugh."
Okay.
So
That's what
uh,
this episode is all about.
yeah. So to get over the ick, what do you recommend?
Vodka and Shaka Khan.
Vodka makes me cry. No one wants to see me on vodka. No one.
Liquor of choice and Shaka Khan. All right. So I I was like 13, 14 when I decided I wanted to be a game master. Don't know why. I just really love storytelling. So that is first and foremost my advice is if you have a story you want to tell, you're already going into the first steps to be a game master. It could be, like I said, a one shot, or it could be an epic adventure. If you have a story, if you have an idea of a story, you can be a game master. It's it's just taking little bit of creativity, which I know you have because you're a miniature painter and a gamer, and you love nerdy things like the rest of us. Though that alone can help you on your way. You don't need to plot point. You see the way Gonzo runs a game, but you can do something similar on your own. And that's anyone. There's people that will plot point every single thing. But there are people who like Gonzo and I where we'll just be like, we have 5 ideas, that's our campaign, and everything else gets filled in between. Um, it just depends on your play style. So, what is your play style, do you think?
I feel like I would do better with the bullet points like you and Gonzo do. Just to
Hmm.
have a very open-ended idea. I don't want to over plan and then things get derailed and then I am just stuck.
So
That that's another part of the anxiety is if something doesn't go according to plan, then what do I do? And then I panic and then I just laugh.
nothing is ever going to go to plan.
I recognize this as a player who causes the shenanigans.
Yes, but that's the thing. The eternal pivot will always happen.
Mhm.
The idea is how fast can you think on your feet or have written down somewhere secondary or tertiary bullet points of like, okay, they did this, which is like they went completely off the rails. Make them. You can either force them back on the adventure, which feels like I said forced,
Mhm.
or you go the long way around, and they basically end up getting back to the main adventure by doing other side adventures. And that can be like, well, they accidentally killed the clerk uh at a store, or they caused a bar fight or something. And then you're like, okay, they did this. Let's see what I can come up with. And that's all. You just need to have like little bullet points. Like you said, little bullet points. It doesn't have to be the main big adventure, but also side adventures, and something that can lead them eventually back to the main campaign. Um, because if we've learned nothing from Vox Machina from the TV show, they are a mess, but they still end up on the main adventure. Um, and that's a curse. That's my kudos to Matt Mercer as a game master. Seeing him work, and I know deep down he's like cringing at what they're doing because I cringe at what they do sometimes. And seeing like how they do things, he just brings them right back into the fold. Um, and you just have fun with it. It goes from, okay, I planned this campaign to be 6 months, but now it ends up being a year because they ended up being completely off kilter. Um, but you still have fun with it, and that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Um,
Right.
you know, I can bring back, for instance, when Josh ran his Iron Kingdoms campaign and the guys went completely off kilter. He had to think on the fly. And you could think on the fly if you are comfortable with that, or, like I said, you look in your little book and you're like, okay, they're off. They are nowhere on the path that I gave them. This is a list of other things I can give them while they're on this other path. And so you just kind of like prepare other bullet points, like you said. If you're a big planner, which you said you, myself, Gonzo, are not, then you have other big plans. Um, but if you just have bullet points and you have ideas of they're on the road to stop uh, the sheriff from stealing from the people instead of going to get the relic that they're supposed to. You're like, okay, how do I get this? Okay, so maybe the sheriff is on the run because he knows he's in trouble because he's corrupt. Have them get to the temple. Oh, it's the same temple. He knows that they're after the relic. Maybe he's trying to get the relic before them. And you just come up with like little ideas that will blossom into your full campaign. And all you need to do is keep good notes or have someone that keeps good notes because I take terrible notes. I'm going to, as I mentioned earlier in the Discord chat, I look to Ariel to tell me the name of the innkeeper from 2 shows ago. So
So need to enlist Ariel. She's gonna be our note taker.
he is really good at it. Um, at least she was. She may not, but she may like, "F you, Nessie. I'm not doing this time." Oh damn. Um, which I was at Barnes and Nobles this weekend, and I should have picked up another journal, and I'm probably gonna have to go to this week before Sunday because I need a journal just for this because I feel Mizzy and Ariel are just going to kind of feed off each other. I don't know. That was the feeling I was getting from session zero.
You're not wrong. I feel
I
like
mean, you,
that there was a good connection there,
yeah,
considering it was the first time that we've like talked to each other.
yeah. She's great, and I hope the rest of the listeners and watchers get to see that she's a great role player. Josh is a great role player, and Gonzo and Mizzy as well because I've seen that happen.
I'm okay.
Um, but it's the interaction. Like I already seeing you three on session zero and watching it and listening to it, and I was like, I'm in trouble. Um,
Oh yeah, whenever we talk about what they're gonna do in my campaign, you're gonna go, this is exactly how I picture this party's gonna go.
yeah, yeah, that's exactly how I picture it. Um,
I
you
will
know, and
wait. Not so patiently. It'll be fine.
and it's funny because I'm already like super excited about it because it's while the campaign has like its big bad and it's lieutenant big bads and so on. They need like a secondary name for big bad lieutenants because the lieutenants never get a good rap. like, like, oh, it's a big bad and his lieutenants. Nah, man, the lieutenants are scary. Um, that comes up to the other thing, the other part of the campaign that I like to prep for is, uh, and I see Gonzo obviously because he paints, the Tomb Walker over here. Um, like, but and this is I've seen nothing of regular bad guys from Gonzo. I've seen everything from like the scary bad guys that he has planned. So they're scary, man. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I do vampires and Strahd and like he does, cuddly, huggy monsters with big teeth.
Nurgle hugs.
Nurgle hugs. That's that he I tell you, man, he's gonna mark a stress on his character sheet and he's gonna rip a tomb off of himself and he's gonna hit you with it. Like it's gonna it's nasty.
Yeet me, motherfucker. Yeet.
Yeah.
You don't even know anything about this guy. He could be just a long lost traveler.
Right. Okay. Um moving on. But
Bullshit.
that yeah. But that's a big thing, right? And it's like you can your game you have a concept of a game, but if you don't have an idea of what the bad guy is doing and what the bad guy is after, then you're just having a bunch of guys on a random quest to Best Buy to get some stuff. Um to get some DVDs or something. They're going to Harold and Kumar goes to White Castle. Um which I should do that as a D&D. I should do that as an adventure. Um
Do it.
a bunch of players going to White Castle for burgers. Um, but but yeah, like if what's the main purpose of your because while the player characters have their purpose or their idea of their story, um you have to fill in the gaps.
Hmm.
And the gaps being the bad guy's quest. He's on a or he or she are on a quest. It could be or it, right? Because it could be a demon. Um, it could be on a quest. What's the quest? What is its main purpose? What is its goal? If its goal is to take over the kingdom, then why? Right? And why is that particular kingdom where the player characters are at important to that bad guy? And it could be nothing as much as he or she was slighted by the royal family. or the prince said no, or the princess spilled coffee on the pauper and the pauper became a great wizard and now the great wizard wants power. At the end of the day, it's always power. Like, but right, but like, and then he or she made deals with whoever, and then it cascades. Once you come up with an idea, they cascade into such scary adventures where by the time you tell the backstory, your player characters can be like, okay, while we're the good guys, I kind of see why he's pissed.
You're out of line, but you're right.
You're out of line and you're going about it the wrong way, but
I
you
see where
might
you're
be
coming
right.
from.
I see where you're coming from. Right? Like and for instance, my big bad guys for Daggerheart were made the moment Gonzo said, I want to be in a campaign. The moment I knew I had 4 players, my big bad guys were made. And that's just from experience. But for a one shot, it could be as simple as the wizard is after this artifact and you are trying to stop him. You guys are trying to save the princess from the castle, but you find out that princess saved herself because she's a badass. Um,
She's a boss ass bitch. She don't need no man.
she don't need no man. And then what you end up fighting is that she's fighting her way down the stairs while you're fighting your way up the stairs. I think that was Damsel.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like awesome. It was like she's fighting her way. She fought her way through the entire house. Like she was badass. But and that's good. It could be whatever you want, but your story, there has to be a specific backstory for your game because that's your responsibility. In this is what we're talking about. Is I have an idea of what my bad guy wants. Whether he gets to succeed or not, that's up to Mizzy, Gonzo, Ariel, and Josh. No pressure.
Oh,
No,
they'll
not,
succeed. We're a bunch
not
of
at all.
fuck ups.
Which, by the way, after session 0, I showed Michelle Dungeons and Dragons the movie, and she loved it. And she's like, "Is this kind of like what you're running?" I was like, "Exactly that. You see how Chris Pine? That's Gonzo." And she's like, "He's a fuck up." I was like, "That's gonna be Tomlin. That's gonna be Tomlin the entire time." You know, and she loved it, and it's it's important to put some levity into your adventure. If it's too serious, the character and again, this is me. I've learned from running very serious campaigns. I have to put levity in it because that's who I am as a game master. That's who I am as a person. I like saying jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like being
there's no
funny.
problem with a little bit of fuck around.
Right.
But when it's
Right,
the
and
main purpose of the whole thing, then it's like, all right, can we? I have a friend of mine. She's in a campaign, and for 5 hours they've tried to leave town, but they can't because everybody just keeps fucking around. And she's like, we have
Seriously?
not done anything in like
Yeah.
5 hours.
Yeah.
Damn.
She's like, I'm about to leave, and I'm like, I would have.
I would have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much fucking around.
Yeah, I can't. You know, like I have to say that in the past couple of years, the group that I've run with, um, Ariel, her sister, her brother-in-law, um, Josh, have been very good in keeping on task. There is some, effing around. There's some, we want to do this, we want to do that, but they keep the story going.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't keep the story going, that's where you look into your separate plot points. um your separate you know separate bullet point of if they're off task, get them back on task. Um and when I was playing World of Warcraft, it was known for you can do side quests up to a point
Mhm.
before you were forced to do the main quest. And you can do like 13 side quests, and that one side quest needed you to do a certain mission that was at the same time the main quest mission.
That
So
makes sense.
you would kill two birds with one stone. Um and maybe they're like, "Oh, we don't want to go to the tower and we don't want to save or we don't want to get the the crusty dagger. That's not important to us. We'll get there later. We want to save the uh the bartender's daughter." And then the bartender's daughter tells them, "Oh, they took this from me." "Oh no, that's important." Like, "Oh, they took this from her? Okay, we'll get that from her." And then this and that and that. And those little plot points will eventually be like, "Oh, snap. We have to go to that tower anyway because they have the little girl's doll." As dumb as it sounds, they're also going to get the dagger.
Mhm.
And then you go from there, right? And if they don't get the dagger, what is the ramifications? What's the payoff? What's the consequence?
Because bad guys do not sleep. They don't wait for
No,
you to go on side adventures.
nope.
Mhm.
It may take them 2 or 3 sessions for them to save the tavern owner's daughter. At the same time, the bad guy has already gotten the dagger. The dagger has already been used in the sacrifice. The sacrifice has already opened a portal. The portal has already done this. Because you may tell them, "Oh, you have to do this by full moon." And I guarantee you they're not going to pay attention to when the full moon happens. And it's your job to try to get them back on task by saying the moon is at its zenith or something of that nature. And I guarantee you a player character was like, "Oh snap, we had to get the dagger before the full moon." Like, and they're gonna race to try to stop the whole thing. And that starts a whole new adventure of them trying to stop something from happening. And you can have fun with it. It was like, well, you had three sessions to try to get the dagger away from them.
You have fucked around and now you are finding out.
Now you find out, and then they come out with Mr. Huggies is coming out. Mr. Huggies is coming out of the portal. Good luck. Roll with hope. Roll. If you're playing with the D&D rules, roll initiative. Good luck.
Don't fuck it up.
Yep. Good luck. Moving on. And as you TPK your entire scenario, you just give them a good cheers and move on.
These are the consequences of your actions. Congratulations. Let's start over.
Yep. Rewrite new characters. But there's normally, at least from my experience, there's normally a player character who wants to get back on task.
Mm-hmm.
At least from like like I said, Josh, Ariel, her sister and brother-in-law, like they tend to be very much on focus. Like, we're going to do this task. In the past, growing up, no, none of my players went ever on task. But I wasn't that far advanced as a game master to um think that far ahead. And I say, as a game master, take it one session at a time. Um, See what your players did one session, and think about what you're gonna do the next session. Look back at what they how they work as a team. If you see them scatterbrained, kind of like lost maybe introduce a non-player character as a way of getting them back on mission.
Mhm.
Like if you watched if you watched the Dungeons and Dragons movie, perfect example. They got the elf paladin to show up, and he got them on missions, and, and we got to hydrate.
Yep.
Oh, thanks, Bree.
Uh,
Is he talking too much? We gotta hydrate.
for real.
Anyway, continue.
Sorry, I do talk too much. Sorry, but yeah, no, you introduce a non-player character who can help them get back on task, whether it's someone that joins the party short term or it's a legendary character of sorts, captain of the guards, a legendary wizard of the royal court, or a ghost, right? Like somebody, um, or even throw in, what I've done this once where I will throw in a future version of their character who went back in time to try to get them on course because the world was kind of like the Flashpoint, right? Like it's a magical character that comes back in time and warns them, but they only have like 5 seconds and can only do so many words. Like you need to stop the wizard from doing the sacrifice at midnight, or now they know. Okay, oh snap, this is like we need to go. We need to
Snap to
stop messing.
reality.
Yeah, come back. Like okay, we don't need that +2 bow. Like because that then they fail to move forward, and your story never moves forward. Um, so I tend to come up with plot points that will get them back on focus. If especially if you like if you have a certain amount of time, like if you say I want to run a campaign, a one shot for 3 sessions, right? But they're putzing around for 2 of those sessions. You got to get back. You have to get them
Yeah.
back on point. Um, as Gonzo does the ghoulish green.
I love that.
It's called maggot skin.
Yeah, no, stop that.
I am here for this. I don't think I have that color actually.
Is that the army painter speed paint?
Yeah, it is Army Painter Speed Paint maggot skin. It's the same color I use on Mr. Huggies, but that one also,
That's what we call him.
yeah.
I love that that's his name now, Mr.
That's
Huggies.
his name, Mr. Huggies. Mr. Huggies is going to make an appearance in my game as well. I don't care. I'm going to make it.
Yeah,
It
I
might
tried
be
to
like
I
a
tried using a
cameo.
different color, but it just wasn't working. There was a rigor mortis skin is what the color was called, but it was just too pale. I'd have to
Yeah.
do a dry brush on everything first to make it look good, and it just was not. I don't have time for that.
It's called speed paint. Gotta be speedy about it.
I still have the single gun mage on my desk that I've yet to finish painting. Like
We're not gonna talk about what's on my desk right now.
Everything.
I've been
I
I've
have
been
every.
I've been way too distracted on painting, but
Well, it's not like we've got this whole ass campaign that you're about to start or anything.
it's been
It,
a
it,
like
it's
I
not like
talked.
you've got 80 Gundams to put together.
I think it's like 84. I got some on the side over here. Like let's not even talk. And then like a whole bunch of magic cards that Bree sent me. Thank you, Bree. I love you. Like,
Yay, magic!
well, she sent me Squall. So if you're a Final Fantasy VIII character lover, she
I
sent me a
love
bunch
it.
and like a whole bunch. I was looking through these cards. I was like, oh my god, I love this character. Like it's like I was like, oh my god. Um, and Michelle and I spent the weekend watching YouTube videos of Magic Commander. Like, and she's like, I want to build a commander deck. I was like, okay, what do you want to build? She wants to do Hydras.
That tracks.
Mm. Yeah, she saw someone use Hydras, and she's like, yeah, like she saw someone she saw a another podcast called the Command Zone, and they were using there was like a fan of the show came on, and they used a deck of Hydras, and she was building the Hydra to like being very epic, and I'm thinking she's gonna beat everybody with the Hydras, and she beat somebody with a vampire. She built the
Oh my
entire. She built all three other players with a vampire combo
wow.
out of nowhere, and I was like, "Yo, I don't want to play her. She's scary." Like I'm thinking the like all the Hydras had trample. They were 18 plus, ready to 18, ready to smash, and next thing you know, she runs a vampire that can do 34 damage twice to each player.
Damn.
I was like, I don't want, and all the other players are like left speechless. Like none of them can figure out how she did it. And me and Michelle were like, yo, that's awesome. Michelle was like, I want to build that deck. Like I want to build that. She's like, I want to do that. I was like, I don't want you to do that. um, but that's the other thing. It's like you when you build a campaign for going back to game mastering. What is it? What's the trying to remember the quote. Plagiarism is a form of compliment or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Or
I know what you're talking about. I'm
right,
catching your drift.
right,
Imitation
right.
is, or the greatest form
Is
of flattery.
right imitation, right? So like I love I loved when I used to run Cyberpunk, which is like a very good. I love Johnny Mnemonic, so I mimicked Johnny Mnemonic into my Cyberpunk world. I had a courier like Keanu Reeves as a character, where they were to bodyguard him. Wasn't exactly Johnny Mnemonic, but I took the story and I tweaked it. Um, and
You translated the vibe to fit
right,
what you needed.
and they were very much the, oh my god, it's Johnny Mnemonic, but it's William Gibson is embedded into my DNA, right? Just like uh Brandon Sanderson and Robert Jordan and all these other art writers. Well, William Gibson in Cyberpunk is in my DNA. So reading William Gibson and making it to a cyberpunk story was very easy. And it's the same with watching any fantasy game, movie or show and putting it into your embedding it into your D&D or Daggerheart story or
Mhm.
Pathfinder or whatever story you want. Again, it comes down
Insert
to
TTRPG here.
right. Insert TTRPG, write down your bullet points, how you want it, what the story is about. Again, who's the big bad guy and what is he going to do, and how your player characters can try to stop him. The big bad guy does not need to make an appearance until later in the game. It- There's a lot of people like, well, I put the big bad guy in the beginning. You don't have to introduce him until you don't introduce him until ever. That's another concept. You
Mhm.
can have his lieutenants be the, oh, well, we stopped him. That's nice. That wasn't the big bad guy. And you keep going with the story. Um, right. Like the thing with Daggerheart, you have 4 tiers, 10 levels. you could introduce the big bad guy early and smack the hell out of all the player characters early on, or you can scare the crap out of them.
Well, I mean, a lot of things to do is when I do mine, I want to tell a story. Here's point A to point Z,
Mm-hmm.
whatever I want. This is the story I want to get. This is the story I want people to know. But when I bring out a bad guy, you won't know. You won't, are you going to see the main bad guy? You don't know. It's all
Yeah.
gonna, it's all gonna just have to be there. But and going with the thing is keeping the players one entertained, two letting them have good challenges, and also letting them win every so often too.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yep. Give them that false sense of security. I mean, make
Yeah.
'em- make them feel good. Make them feel good. Okay?
Give them
No,
that hit of
look,
dopamine.
look. Let's go back to Vox Machina, right? The TV show. They go back. They win. They're all happy. And at the end of the episode, the dragons attack the city. Like there's four huge dragons attacking their city. Yet they survived and beat the original campaign, but the conclave comes over and destroys the city. Characters are on this high of like, we just beat this bad guy, we just did this, we just did that, and then all of a sudden they get smacked down to like almost nothing. And you leave them off on a cliffhanger, which I love doing. I love leaving them on a cliffhanger.
We
And
know.
that's it. And that's something you can decide or not, but I love leaving them on a cliffhanger, especially when you know when your next session is. Cool. Leave them off on a good cliffhanger. When you
Mhm.
don't know when your next session is, try not to leave them off because it could be a month before your next session. That really sucks. Um, but you try to leave them off on a high point, or you want to make them that endorphins. They feel good about themselves. They can go to sleep at night. But if you know the next adventure is only in 2 weeks, I tend to just make them feel bad. I want them cursing me out by the like. I've mentioned this before. I had player characters riot on where I left the cliffhanger, and I had to actually not finish off on a cliffhanger. If and they were here physically. If it was online, I wouldn't have cared. I would have like, that's too bad. Hang up the call, move on.
You were
But
in
they were,
physical danger.
I was in danger. They were just right there on my table. Like they,
There
and it
was no
wasn't just
running.
no. There was just it wasn't just one player character. Like, oh man, that's messed up. No, all of them were going to riot, and I literally felt in danger. I was like, okay, okay. And I had again, you have to make it up as you have to be able to ad lib. You have to make it up. I had no idea where I was going with that ending. I hadn't. I was like, oh, okay. Like at that point, you have to think on your feet.
Mhm.
But and this and I say this especially if you are starting out, tell them no, I don't have anything right now, and move along. That's it. End it. Don't be afraid to end it. If you don't have anything planned, you're not the type to come up with an idea. This is cool. I love you guys. I don't love you guys. I don't have anything right now. We'll find out what happens X amount of time. Um, it's harder for me to run physical campaigns in New York um, than it has been to say, hey, let's plot it. And it technically was easier to plot out with you guys like, okay, we can't do the 12th because Josh is coming back from Disney. Poor guy. Um, let's do it the next day because I knew it could have been either the Sunday or the Sunday after the 20th. It would have been fine, but I knew Gonzo was running the 19th. You guys were going to Vegas. I was going to be at Gen Con, and we had other. It would have been like a month and a half plus
Yeah.
before even got session one going, and I could not. I don't want that. I want us to have as much fun as possible before we go on our convention break. And then when we come back from our convention break, we should have an idea of, hey, as from like from the 13th on, we will discuss like, hey, how's the 9th? How's the 10th? You know, whatever. Like we'll figure out what day works for the next adventure. But I really want to keep the momentum going for Daggerheart because as Gonzo is painting this really scary creature that Mizzy needs to beat up. Like Mizzy,
I was smash. I'm gonna smash.
you need to smack him and say you owe me $5 because Nessie said so.
Bet. Give me 5 handfuls of gold.
Right? 5 handfuls of gold. Yes, baby. Right there. I love the money system. It's like 5 handfuls, a treasure chest, and was it a wagon full? Like
I think so.
You're gonna be so upset when this guy doesn't make an appearance until much later in the story.
Really?
I have no clue. No,
He has no
he
idea.
should make an appearance. He should make an appearance in the next session. Trying to get the last bit. I mean, I got pretty much almost him done. I mean, he's got the green skin. I've got some other stuff. I just need to do a little bit of dry brush, let some things settle down, and then do the ropes. But it's pretty much almost time, and we actually didn't even get to player responsibilities. So let's do a quick, like 10 minutes on player responsibilities, because we were doing GM stuff while I switch over my screen and move over. Because just because you're a player doesn't mean you can slack off.
Exactly.
You gotta pay attention. You gotta. I feel like I'm gonna go in. I'm going to attempt to take notes. Whether or not they're great notes is an entirely different story. But I'm gonna try, and so you gotta pay attention, so that you know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, because I mean, as a GM, I wouldn't say it's annoying, but it is annoying to go in and go, "Hey, Mizzy, what are you doing? Oh, what's going on?" And you have to repeat the whole thing.
Yep.
Get off your phone, blah blah blah. Get into the story. One of our friends was telling me he was playing a game and they had to repeat almost everything for this one player because he was watching football the whole time. Like,
that's annoying.
What? Why are you here?
Yeah, why are you here? Go watch football.
Go watch. Yeah, no.
And everything, and I was like, or on their phone or whatever. And don't get me wrong, everybody can, check their phone, do whatever. But if you can't do both at the same time, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And
If
that's
you
the
can
biggest
multitask, go for it.
Yeah.
But make sure that you're paying attention.
Very much so.
That's the biggest thing. And then I feel like in between sessions, it's okay. Go over your notes. Think about what happened, what your options could be, type of thing. If you need inspiration, watch movies that relate to the setting. See where that goes.
I have very far and few between been the player. I think the last time I was a player was in Gonzo's Die campaign.
That's been a minute.
Yes.
That has been a hot minute there, Nestor.
Yes. And to be probably, and also maybe in Josh's D&D campaign for Iron Kingdoms, I was very far and few between. Um, for me, I don't need to do much. I just show up. But that's the thing. Show up, bring your dice, bring your updated character sheet. You know, if your game master tells you it's time to level up, level up. Questions before the campaign, because if you're going to spend 20, 30 minutes leveling up your character when he or she should have started the game already, it kind of throws the whole game off.
Yeah.
You know, like at the end of this session 1 or 2, you got, depending on how fast you guys do, you should be done with level 1. And the reason why level 1 is supposed to go fast, right? It's supposed to be one of those adventures where, oh, I did this, this, and this. I did this, this, and this. You should be done pretty quickly. Milestones are up to the GM's discretion. Um, but as time goes forward, take notes. Hey, I bought this. How much gold I should have? How much ammo I should have? Like the thing about Daggerheart is like, eh, it's very loose on the rules of like ammo. Like I was always loose on the rules of ammo. Like,
Same here.
like I was like, oh, you have 30, you have ammo, we're good. You have a specific ammo type, we'll talk. But if it's a regular bow and arrow or a regular crossbow, even regular daggers, I'm not opposed to you saying I pilfered the daggers from the dead body of the rogues I found on the way here.
Right.
The player characters should be responsible as well. And even if it's just telling like, hey, I want to go to this XYZ person who might have some secrets as a rogue or as a warrior, or I want to visit my clan who's as a barbarian. Because it helps build the story going forward. Just my 2 cents as a player. It's very far and few between I've ever been a player. Me and Gonzo share the title of Forever GM.
So let's talk in hypotheticals then. If you weren't a forever GM, do you think that you would do anything different?
No, because I know what I would want or expect as a game master. I would do the same for whoever is my game master. So when Josh tells me, "Oh, your ranger is up to level 6," I'm going to be sure that my ranger is level 6 for the next game, right?
Mhm.
If I have a question of what my ranger abilities are, like, hey, I want to take or I want to multi-class as a, I don't know, sorcerer. Levels, you like a level 5 ranger, level 1 sorcerer. Is that going to throw? That's a very good question. I would, not many player characters think about that, in my opinion. Multi-classing, is it going to throw off the adventure? Because now the game master is thinking, oh, I have a ranger, I have a druid, I have a wizard, and I have a warrior. Wait a minute. Now I have a ranger slash sorcerer, now a wizard, a druid, and a wait, I have 2 magic classes. He's gonna have both ranger abilities and sorcerer abilities. How is that gonna throw off the game?
I've had going off a tangent on this. I've had people do that. They want a multi-class. They're like, "Ooh, this sounds cool," and then they do it, and they're like, "No, this is not good. This sucks." And because I see other people getting higher classes and doing other things,
Mm-hmm.
and being experts in their field type stuff, and it kind of just, I'm like, yeah, you kind of nerfed your character.
Yeah.
You did, and nothing you can do whatever you want. It's all you. I'm not going to tell you can't. But when you got when Missy's monk is full monk and is like attacking 9 times and throwing fireballs and all this other stuff, and you're going plink with an arrow because you took 6 things in rogue and 1 thing in fighter, you're going plink. That's that's just kind of what you do. I've seen that happen quite a bit. And your character, you can do what you want, but I've seen that happen quite often.
Yeah. And that can be a very detriment thing where I'm a level 5 like go back to level 5 ranger, but level 1 sorcerer. Cool. Your spells are a level 1 sorcerer.
Right.
You're doing level 1 sorcerer things compared to had you chosen a level 6 ranger, you would have been able to do multi-shot or something else of that nature where the ranger would have been more beneficial to your team. And it's not a bad thing. Again, do what you want. It's your player character. But you really should look as what it affects the party as a whole. And again, at the end of the day, it's your player character. If you want to be a level 1 sorcerer and level 5 rogue, more power to you. Or level 5 ranger. Guess what? You're not bringing your bear into combat because it's stuck as a level 5 bear compared to a level 1 sorcerer who has no bear. So as you grow as a sorcerer, your bear or your character as a ranger stays at level 5. Which is the goods and bads of multi-classing. I don't think I've ever had anyone multi-class in any of my games.
Yeah, very very rarely that nowadays. But like this, they want to, they can. Just you gotta handle. You got to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
My biggest thing for players to do is be in the moment, do things, and take notes. Because a GM telling you something, there's a reason why a GM tells you something. For the most part. But absent-minded or, doing other things, super, super annoying. So.
Unless you're getting the dinner order.
Yeah.
If that person has stepped away to order the pizza or Chinese or whatever, he gets a pass. He or she gets a pass.
That's why you take a 5-minute break. Be like,
Exactly.
okay, food break.
Yeah. Marla had my people rebel, and I would order Domino's normally, and she had them rebel and order from a very specific pizza place that we would go to, because she's like, why get Domino's when you live in New York City and it's the best pizza in the world? So
I mean, it'd be like that.
it'd be like that, yeah.
Well, guys, like I said, we're going to be doing the next episode is not going to be a podcast. It's going to be our RPG, which we're really excited for. We can't wait to do it. So that's going to be coming out. So we hope you stick around because it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be super, super fun. But
be a frog.
And I get to be a fawn.
Frog. Yeah. Frog.
Frog. Frog.
Frog.
And so we'll be working on that. Other than that, I think that's about it. We can go to media section. I know Mizzy said she had at least 7 things. Nestor said he had 10, and I only have 1.
Mhm.
So we can go with that.
Okay, sure, Gonzo. Sure, Gonzo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, Nestor, I'll go for my first one. And we'll even talk about the one that Nestor and I are going to talk about. So, Old Guard 2 just hit Netflix. And someone said they needed to watch Old Guard 1. So I watched Old Guard 1. And it was still a good movie. It's still great, still fun, still energetic. I didn't get to watch 2 yet. I'm going to watch that probably next week or this week. So I'm waiting on that. But watching it to get caught up. But I have a rant that I need to say on this. I am really, really tired of getting cool shows and waiting 2 years for something to come back. Or
Agreed.
Old Guard 2, 5 years.
Has it been 5 years?
It was a 2020 episode.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I this is coming to be a norm of a TV show comes out, does really well, does really good, and we're waiting 2 years. Now I can understand a year, because if it comes out, in the fall, waited for a year and never coming in. I mean, it's the same thing. The hype for, Stranger Things, that's kind of over now.
Mm-hmm.
People really, people are still going to watch it. They're going to enjoy it because it's the ending and so on and so forth. But TV shows and movies with sequels, we can't wait 2 years. We can't wait 3 years. We can't wait 5 years. They need to come out, in a year, maybe a year and a half, depending on how things going. But it's kind of getting really annoying.
Yeah.
So I was like, really? It'll take that long? Shit. So, and it's getting to be annoying for a lot of things. Sandman. How long did it take for Sandman, the new season of Sandman, to come out?
4 years, I think.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Just way too long to get things going. We just need a year.
They should have known. They should have known that a show like Sandman or even a movie like Old Guard would have been successful.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, I was like, really? We just got too much. We need to get it. And Shadow Sword does make a good point that studios are too scared to greenlight more than one season at a time. I get it, but halfway through the season and the ratings are great and the viewership is great, so on and so forth. And if it's a TV show, you're gonna, I mean, come on. We shouldn't be waiting 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, The Last Airbender, we're waiting on that new season of that for, a while. And I'm like, you're losing the hype. One Piece.
Yeah, One Piece.
Yeah.
One Piece.
We're losing, you're losing your viewership.
Gimme.
They knew One Piece was going to be successful. They knew it because they had test audiences for it before it even went to streaming. They had a test audience for it. It's the same with movies. They greenlight movies before the movie is even out for a sequel. Sinners is out for a sequel even if the creator isn't coming out with the sequel. Like, will it be as good? Probably not. But it builds on the hype. And I get it. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, whoever, they don't have the money capacity of major studios. But let's be real. Like, was there a doubt that One Piece was not going to be as successful with even if the test audiences gave it such a high rating as a TV show?
Yeah. It's just getting very annoying to wait 2+ years for a sequel or 2+ years for the next season, especially if it's the next season.
Right. And look at shows like The Pit. Which I loved. The Pit. As a big ER fan.
Yep.
Seeing Carter. I'm sorry. The other doctor. But Noah Wiley, right? Noah Wiley had been watching my entire adult life.
Oh yeah.
And seeing him on another medical drama. And yes, it has no special effects. I get that. But to film a show like The Pit, it's expensive because all their medical equipment is real, just like it was in ER. And they filmed, I think it was like 14 episodes in one, almost like 24 status. Like every episode was an hour. Coming out next January. a year after the last seasons came out. Like I can Law and Order. I can dependably watch any of the Law and Order shows because they will be out a year after the past season was out. FBI, any of these other shows. Yes, I get it. Special effects take time, right? But sorry, I'm just very upset that certain shows who have very minimal or no special effects take 2 to 3 years knowing where the fan base is. Like House of the Dragon,
Oh, yeah, another one.
right? I get it. But the actors only film 6 to 8 episodes compared to a standard TV season of 23 episodes or 21 episodes. The Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, all these TV shows they used to be on the CW were 21 plus episodes with special effects. So what's their excuse?
Small little rant, just getting annoying.
Sorry.
Missy, what do you have for us this week?
So Friday I went to go watch fireworks at our local concert theater place. And I got to see a local barbershop quartet make their debut. So I got to listen to the Decibel Daddies. So they did a few songs. They did like a classic song. I think it was called "Let Me Call You Sweetheart." They did it with their kids. It was a cute little show. But they started out with their Chapel Roan version of Hot to Go, but instead of Hot to Go, it's called Hot to Mo. Yeah, and it's exactly what you want it to be. So they don't have a huge social media presence right now. I was able to find their Instagram and their TikTok where they've got some sound check videos of it, and so you can kind of check them out there. I want to see more of these guys. I want them on Apple Music. I want to hear their shit because it is just so hilarious and dad jokes galore. Yes, so
Love it.
yes. Yeah. So give me more barbershop quartet fun stuff with dad jokes. I'm giving them one space herpy
Nice.
because I need more. Give me more social media. Give me more music.
Nice.
What y'all got?
Friday, me and Michelle went to go see the new Jurassic World movie. With Scarlett Johansson. It was really good it was better than the last Jurassic World movie. It was fun. It was like every Jurassic Park or World movie has to jump the shark
Yeah.
compared to the previous movies. But beyond whatever creature they wanted to throw out, it was a lot of fun. That was not the sangria talking. It was just like we just had a lot of fun. It wasn't like one dinosaur was the main. Okay, yes, one dinosaur was the main bad, but like the raptors weren't like the main bad guy, or the T-Rex wasn't the main bad guy, or the Spinosaurus or the Moses. Every dinosaur from the past or previous Jurassic World or Park movies got a spotlight, and then there were some new creations, which I'm kind of tired of the mutant or DNA change of the dinosaurs, but again, it's fun. It wasn't like the T-Rex was not slouched upon, and the Spinosaurus was. The fact that the Spinosaurus is amphibious scares the crap out of me. Like, for those who have not seen Jurassic Park 3, just think of that creature in the water. Scary. The Mosasaurus also is in the so like the Mosasaurus and the Spinosaurus are hunting together in like a symbiotic relationship. Um, Scarlett Johansson is as great. The entire cast was just great. The If you have seen the Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix,
Mhm.
uh, he plays a father. And I'm trying to remember who he was throughout the entire movie. I was like, I'm trying to remember, and Michelle's like smacking me like, "Shut up, watch the movie." I'm like, "No, I know him." Um, but it was really good, and I had a great time. Uh, it's a really good summer flick, and I'm looking forward to like if they expand on it, cool. If they don't, and of course they are because it's a Jurassic Park film, and we've been seeing this for like God, I think like 20, 30 plus years. I've been watching Jurassic Park films. Um, I look forward to the next Jurassic Park movie. Yeah, so it's two space herpes because there's some parts where you're just like, why did they put this in the film? You could have skipped this.
Gotcha.
Hanzo?
So the newest season of Sandman came out.
Hmm.
Spoiler free, so don't worry about it. But the newest season came out. It's only half season. We get the rest of it on like July 24th. Of course, I binge watched it. I love Sandman. I love this show. I think it's great. It's very spooky, very creepy, very pay attention. You have to watch it, listen to it very well, so on and so forth. I love this first of the season. Really good. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of good stories, a lot of good characters. So I'm really enjoying this. I can't wait for the rest of the season. So hopefully it'll, finish out. Nestor and I already talked about this. They are jumping stories quite a bit because it is a final season. Because I think that they were wanting to do this more than 2 seasons. But they're kind of jumping stories to get what they want out, which I'm okay with. It's not a problem. So I'm enjoying it a lot. Nestor, what did you have to think?
I I just finished it before jumping on the pre-ramble. I Michelle and I loved the first season. The second season was great. A lot of the stories were a mixture of on a what would have been season 2 if they didn't have to condense it, and season 3, and being a lot of characters who I've never actually seen in the comic books before because I've only had like the first maybe 24 issues of the comic, but um and the audiobook is great. So that's the other thing. If you listen to the audiobook, it's great. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the second half. The first half ended on, I don't want to say a high note, but it's enough to like you're feeling good about yourself, and then they rip your heart out.
That tracks.
It's like,
That
damn,
tracks.
I was feeling good. There's some closure, and no happy ending for this season per se. You're just kind of waiting on pins and needles for like another 3 weeks. Um, but there's a reason why they did that, and again, never meet your heroes. You're always disappointed afterwards. Um, Neil Gaiman has been there's some issues with that,
Yeah.
and um, but Sandman was a lot of fun this weekend, and I look forward to the second, and it's like a second half and like a long episode at the end of the month on top of that. So
Yeah, I
it's
think
like
so.
you get like 6 more episodes and like one long like movie type episode to end the series, and I'm like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, it will. Mizzy, do you have anything else?
I also got to see the Symphony of Northwest Arkansas Friday night. They did their performance, and one song in particular stood out to me, and that was the title theme music of Jaws.
Yeah.
Listening to it live is a whole experience that people need to hear. I loved it. It was absolutely delightful. It was also towards the end of the show, but how they incorporated it was really nice. It was really good. Happy brain chemicals.
Guys, I think that's our show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing, yeah. No, I think I'm gonna watch Jaws later this month. That's about it.
Yeah, I got a few other
Like,
things I need to watch, but
Yeah, Jaws is like mentioning Jaws. It's one of my favorites. So.
oh yeah, it's a classic. Well, guys, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Don't forget, next episode is a RPG session. We hope you join us for that one because it's going to be so fun and so entertaining. But we appreciate you. We appreciate you a lot. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please take care of yourself. Please make sure you look after each other. And have a good week, and we'll see you Sunday. Good night.
Night.
Thanks for listening to More Than Dice, making the world a better, nerdier place, one dumb joke at a time. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more nerdy action or to connect with your hosts, check them out on Facebook.com/More Than Dice and Twitch.tv/more_than_dice. Until next time, stay nerdy, stay proud, and we'll see you soon on the More Than Dice podcast.